Welcome to Anime Chronicles, the channel where we bring to life the full story of every anime character and beyond. Today, we'll dive into the fiery journey of Charmander, from its memorable moments in the Pokémon anime and manga, to its presence in countless games, and the fascinating curiosities that make this little fire-type one of the most beloved Pokémon of all time. If you love exploring the origins and history of your favorite characters, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us on this adventure through the world of anime and Pokémon! Among all the Pokémon introduced in the original red and green versions in Japan, later released as red and blue in the West, few hold a place in fans' hearts quite like Charmander, Rousum 4. Known as the lizard Pokémon, Charmander is part of the original trio of starter Pokémon from the Kanto region, alongside Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Its design, lore, and place in the anime quickly made it one of the most iconic Pokémon in the franchise. Charmander's Japanese name is Hitokage, which translates roughly to fire lizard. The design concept is simple yet timeless. A small bipedal orange lizard with a constantly burning flame on the tip of its tail. According to the Pokédex, this flame is a direct indicator of the Pokémon's life force. If it goes out, the Charmander dies. This detail, though subtle in the games, has contributed to much of the mythos and emotional attachment fans feel toward this species. The flame reacts to Charmander's emotions. It burns brightly when excited, flickers when tired, and blazes furiously in battle. This characteristic has made Charmander not only an endearing creature, but also a symbol of perseverance and vitality. Charmander belongs to the fire type, one of the most beloved types in the Pokémon franchise, often associated with strength, passion, and intensity. Despite its relatively small size and base stats, Charmander quickly became a fan favorite because of its design and its eventual evolution line. Charmeleon, and finally the powerful Charizard. This evolutionary path represented growth, resilience, and power, themes that resonated with children and adults alike. In terms of design inspiration, Charmander appears to draw from Western depictions of small dragons or lizards, but with a distinctly Japanese, cute aesthetic. The flametail concept gave it an instantly recognizable silhouette. Charmander's design was created by Ken Sugimori, the lead illustrator for the original Pokémon games, who was tasked with designing all 151 original species. Sugimori's artistic vision kept Pokémon visually simple but deeply iconic, and Charmander embodies this philosophy perfectly. Charmander's Pokédex entries across generations consistently emphasize its flame. In Pokémon Red version, 1996, the entry states, "Obviously prefers hot places. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail." Later games expand on this, adding emotional depth. For example, in Pokémon Diamond, its entry reads, "The flame on its tail shows the strength of its life force. If it is healthy, the flame burns brightly." These recurring descriptions help solidify the image of Charmander as a creature whose entire existence is tied to fire and passion. Charmander is found primarily in Kanto-based games, but due to its popularity, it has reappeared in multiple generations, often given as a special gift or event Pokémon. In Pokémon Yellow, for instance, players can obtain a Charmander from a trainer on Route 24, directly mirroring Ash's acquisition of Charmander in the anime. In later generations, Charmander often returns as part of nostalgic tributes to the original games, such as in Pokémon Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, XY, Sword Shield, and even as a Gigantamax form in Pokémon Sword Shield, where Charizard once again became a central symbol of the franchise. What makes Charmander stand out compared to Bulbasaur or Squirtle is its narrative role across the Pokémon media. In the anime, Charmander is introduced in one of the most emotional early episodes, Charmander the Stray Pokémon, episode 11 of the original series. Here, Ash and his friends discover a Charmander abandoned by its original trainer, Damien, who cruelly left it behind. Charmander's loyalty and perseverance, waiting for Damien's return despite being in danger of dying if its flame went out, struck a chord with viewers. This episode emphasized themes of loyalty, betrayal, and compassion, making Charmander's eventual decision to join Ash one of the most memorable moments in the series. Charmander's popularity skyrocketed after this episode. Children empathized with its struggle, and its relationship with Ash became a highlight of the Kanto journey. This emotional storytelling, paired with Charmander's adorable design and eventual evolution into the mighty Charizard, solidified its place in the cultural legacy of Pokémon. From a competitive standpoint in the original games, choosing Charmander as a starter presented a challenge. In Pokémon Red-Blue, the first two gyms were Rock-type, Brock, and Water-type, Misty, which left Charmander at a disadvantage compared to Bulbasaur or Squirtle. This made starting with Charmander a choice for players who wanted a more difficult journey at the beginning, but it also paid off later in the game, as Charmander and its evolutions thrived against grass, bug, and eventually many late-game opponents. This difficulty curve gave Charmander players a sense of pride and resilience, mirroring the Pokémon's own character traits. Charmander's cultural impact goes beyond the games and anime. In the Pokémon Adventures manga, Charmander appears as the partner Pokémon of Blue, the rival. Unlike Ash's affectionate and emotional relationship with his Charmander, Blue's use of Charmander is more strategic and cold, reflecting his personality. This distinction highlights the adaptability of Charmander's character depending on the trainer, loyal and loving with kind-hearted trainers, but fierce and ruthless in competitive hands. By the time the Pokémon franchise became a worldwide phenomenon, Charmander had already established itself as one of its mascots, second only to Pikachu and Eevee in terms of recognition. Plush toys, trading cards, figurines, and merchandise featuring Charmander remain some of the most popular among collectors. Its base set trading card in the original Pokémon TCG is one of the most nostalgic and iconic cards, remembered fondly by fans of the 1990s. In many ways, Charmander represents the ideal Pokémon. Simple in design, rich in lore, emotionally compelling, and endlessly versatile in storytelling. Whether through the games, anime, manga, or merchandise, Charmander has remained a constant presence in Pokémon culture, igniting the flames of passion for fans across multiple generations. When Charmander first appeared in the original Pokémon anime, it quickly became one of the most beloved and emotionally impactful Pokémon in the series. Its debut episode, Charmander, the Stray Pokémon, Episode 11 of the Indigo League, introduced fans to a story that was far more emotional than the usual catch a new Pokémon formula. In the episode, Ash and his friends encounter a Charmander left abandoned on a rock during a storm. Its trainer, Damien, had cruelly discarded it for being too weak, leaving the poor creature exposed to harsh weather with only the flame on its tail keeping it alive. This flame, which has always been a crucial symbol of Charmander's life force, became a dramatic focus. Brock explained that if the flame ever went out, Charmander would die. This moment turned Charmander from a simple starter Pokémon into a cultural icon of loyalty, perseverance, and trust. Ash risked his own safety to protect Charmander, eventually earning its trust and catching it. Fans to this day consider it one of the most touching episodes in the Pokémon anime. Charmander's anime journey didn't stop there. Under Ash's care, it fought many battles and showed an eagerness to prove itself. However, when it evolved into Charmeleon, its personality drastically changed, becoming rebellious and disobedient, a direct reflection of how evolution sometimes affects Pokémon emotionally, not just physically. This arc reached its climax when Charmeleon evolved into Charizard, a powerhouse that often refused to listen to Ash until much later in the series. Still, this entire character arc began with Charmander's heartbreaking origin. Charmander has appeared in several other anime seasons as well. For example, in Pokémon Journeys, Ash recalls his old Charmander and Charizard, demonstrating how important this Pokémon has been to his growth as a trainer. Other trainers like Richie, Ash's rival in the Indigo League, also had a Charmander named Zippo, showcasing its popularity among trainers across the anime. Beyond the main series, Charmander appeared in numerous spin-offs and specials, always depicted as loyal, brave, and slightly mischievous. Its anime appearances helped solidify it as a symbol of friendship and perseverance, themes that resonated with audiences worldwide. While the anime made Charmander an emotional symbol, the manga series Pokémon Adventures, Pokémon Special in Japan, offered an even deeper and sometimes darker portrayal of the fiery lizard. In the manga, the protagonist Red begins his journey with a Charmander, which he receives from Professor Oak. Unlike Ash's more comedic adventures, the manga often delves into intense battles, higher stakes, and moments of true danger. Red's Charmander proves to be both courageous and intelligent, often thinking strategically in battles. It evolves into Charmeleon during Red's fierce fight with Koga, a Team Rocket executive and gym leader. Later, it becomes a Charizard, one of Red's most reliable and iconic partners throughout the series. What stands out in the manga is how much focus is placed on the Pokémon's personalities and bonds with their trainers. Charmander is not just a battle tool, it's a partner with emotions, growth, and loyalty. The manga also does not shy away from darker themes. For example, it highlights the cruelty of some trainers and the dangers Pokémon face in the wild. Charmander's flame tail again plays an important role. Scenes emphasize how its survival is tied to that small yet powerful fire, reminding readers of the fragile balance of life. In later manga arcs, other characters like Blue, Gary in the Ba-Chi anime, and Green also interact with Charmander or its evolutions, solidifying it as one of the most important Pokémon across storylines. While the anime softened the tone for younger audiences, the manga made Charmander's struggles and triumphs resonate with older readers who appreciated the mix of danger and friendship. The contrast between manga and anime Charmander reflects how adaptable this Pokémon is to different storytelling formats. Emotional in one, strategic and battle-hardened in the other. Charmander's legacy in video games is monumental. Introduced in Pokémon Red and Blue, 1996 in Japan, 1998 worldwide, as one of the 3 original starter Pokémon, it immediately became a fan favorite. Alongside Bulbasaur and Squirtle, Charmander gave players a crucial choice that defined their early journey. Would they start with fire, water, or grass? Choosing Charmander came with a challenge. In the earliest games, the first 2 gym leaders were Brock, Rock-type, and Misty, Water-type, both of which were strong against Charmander's Fire-type moves. This made early game progression harder for players who chose Charmander, teaching them the value of strategy, grinding, and patience. However, once trained, Charmander rewarded players with incredible strength upon evolution into Charizard. Charmander has been available as a starter or special gift in many games. Pokémon Yellow. Charmander can be received as a gift, mirroring Ash's story in the anime. Pokémon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Charmander returned as a starter, with updated sprites. Pokémon X and Y. Charmander was given as a second starter in Kalos, making Charizard accessible with new Mega evolutions. Pokémon Sword and Shield. Leon, the champion of Galar, gives players a Charmander after the main story, cementing its status as one of the most beloved Pokémon ever. Beyond the mainline series, Charmander has appeared in countless spin-offs. Pokémon Mystery Dungeon, Pokémon Go, Pokémon Snap, and more. In Mystery Dungeon, for example, players could even become a Charmander, living out adventures through its perspective. Charmander's design has evolved from simple 8-bit sprites to fully animated 3D models in modern games, but its charm has remained consistent. A small, fiery lizard whose flame tail symbolizes determination, spirit, and survival. Charmander is more than just a starter Pokémon, it is a cultural icon. From plush toys to trading cards, posters, and video game merchandise, Charmander has been featured in nearly every form of Pokémon-related media. Its adorable yet fiery design made it one of the most recognizable creatures of the franchise. The Charmander card from the original 1999 Pokémon trading card game base set remains highly collectible today, with mint versions fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars among collectors. Its popularity in the TCG only added to its fame outside of the video games and anime. Charmander's evolutionary line, Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, became so iconic that Charizard often serves as a franchise mascot alongside Pikachu. Charizard has appeared on game covers, tournaments, and promotional material, and all of that fame traces back to the little Charmander that started it all. Culturally, Charmander resonates because it represents growth, perseverance, and loyalty. Fans remember its anime debut as a tear-jerking story, its game presence as a rewarding but challenging starter, and its manga role as a symbol of determination. It embodies the core of Pokémon itself, the bond between trainer and Pokémon, and the journey of growing stronger together. Even today, Charmander is consistently voted among the most popular Pokémon in official polls. In 2020's Worldwide Pokémon Day poll, Charmander ranked in the top 10 most beloved Pokémon, proving its flame hasn't gone out even after decades. Its lasting legacy is simple. Charmander represents the fire of adventure, the spark of friendship, and the courage to keep moving forward, even when the odds are against you. And that is why Charmander will forever remain one of the greatest Pokémon of all time.